All right, so this video is very near and dear to my heart. I feel like I speak on this all the time, but I genuinely feel like this is the thing that has allowed me to be living the life I live now, have the business I have now, and to just feel like I get to do things on my own terms. Start messy, like take messy action. I swear, I look back at so many of my other like videos and programs I put out and all like posts and all the things, and none of it's perfect. Perfect doesn't even exist. It's not even real. And I don't know, for some reason I just kind of I think I just always heard people say that, and I just was like, okay, well, if this is what successful people think, then I'm gonna think like that too, and I'm just gonna go. But it's amazing how much we can all say that, take messy action, ready is a lie, right? Like we can say those things, but if we're, if you're anything like me, like for a while before I started my business, I was a big perfectionist. I always wanted things to look a perfect way. I always wanted things to look, yeah, a certain way, be up to a certain standard before I would share it with the world, right? And I was like, I need it to be completely done before I share it out. But what happens is when you do that, you completely disallow yourself to honor yourself in the process, and you take away some of the authenticity. And that is one of the things that people fall in love with you for, right? I have a lot of clients today that saw me a year ago and literally just sent me a message and were like, I've been seeing you on this journey for so long. You're so inspiring. I want to learn from you, right? Like how do I connect with you, right? That's a lot of my clients right now is they've been seeing me on this journey for so long that they're like, wow, like you've just been consistent, sticking with it. I've seen massive changes in you. I want to do that too. I feel like I'm ready to step up into more. Like I don't want to just sit here anymore. I want to do what you're doing. So I say all of that because the foundation, the underlying thing of that, the skill there is I just kept moving even when I wasn't ready. My first videos are so cringy to this day. I literally just keep them up because I'm in love with that version of myself. I love her so much because she really, really wanted to bring her dreams to life, that she was so willing to just go for it, be vulnerable, be seen, and just lay it out on the table and say, I'm here to serve, like I'm here to help you, here's my mission, right? Like there's something really beautiful about that that kind of feels like a lost art, especially as we've moved into such a heavy social media world, right? There is some of that lost authenticity because it feels like everybody's just perfect and like flawless, and just like, if you don't have everything like beautiful and exactly how everybody else's look, then you're not, an authority in the space. You don't deserve to be taken serious. But that's absolutely not the case. Messy action is one of the most beautiful things you can do, especially in the beginning. And also what it does is it helps you build the confidence, right? Showing up day in, day out for yourself and figuring it out along the way, right? Makes you so powerful, because what it does is it's also building your resilience, because doing something enough over time, like you're going to experience a lot of road bumps. You're going to experience a lot of like frustrating moments. You're going to experience things not going your way. You're going to experience so much impatience with not being where you imagine yourself being, right? You're like, I'm creating this. I know it's not perfect, but like I have such big visions of what I want all of this to be, right? And you're going to just feel like, oh my gosh, when am I going to get there? When, when am I going to get there? And to be honest, I have some of those moments still. But, right, if you continue on in this, like stuff just evolves over time. It just starts to form. It just starts to become the thing. And you are able to then look back and be like, wow, like I'm glad I stayed patient. I'm glad I stayed on this journey because it started to, things started to happen, right? And so when you see that enough, when you do this reflection work, when you stay on the journey, when you kind of can see like, wow, like I really have come so far, like you become nicer to yourself. You become more patient because you're like, oh, I see. I see why I had to wait. I see, you start connecting dots. So you're less like stressed, and also, yeah, you just build a thicker skin and you're willing to continue pushing through, right? So I just say that from the most real place because that's been my journey for so much of this. And this is a big reason why I wanted to create this, because I want to give you the shortcuts. I don't want you to feel like you have to go through all the ups and downs and trials and errors that I did to get to, those places of like, I feel like I can breathe and I feel like I'm, more of where I want to be, right? I want to get you there sooner. But I'm telling you, even if you're getting the shortcuts, even if you're moving in a way that feels like, wow, like I feel like I'm more where I want to be, it's still, you're still going to have your trial and error. You're still going to have your speed bumps and road bumps along the way, right? It's still going to, because it's your journey. Everybody's journey is different. So I just say this because messy action is king. I don't care. I don't care what anybody says. It will always be king. Just like a simpler way, I guess, to say that is the less gap you can have in between an inspired idea coming through and taking action, the more fruitful you will be. So now I'm at a place where I'm able to move quicker because I understand that. So the moment you get an idea, an inspiration for something, I want you to think about, okay, well, how can I just match that with an action? Whether that means you get inspired and you write it down, you speak it out loud, you go and create the post, right? If you like, today even, for a while, I didn't really have a lot of inspiration coming through. I was kind of feeling like at a standstill a bit. And then, so I didn't really post anything. And then recently, I've just been like having like floods and floods and floods of ideas coming through. So I posted like 3 times today. I don't care if it feels like too much. I was like, I just want to say it. I feel like it makes so much sense. It just came through so clear. I'm gonna say it, right? And still to this day, my social media doesn't look like any beautiful work of art, but the information is good. The posts are amazing. I love what I said. If somebody actually really reads it, they will change their life, right? Like, it's that confidence and that knowing behind the work that you're putting out there that is game changer. But in order to get to that point, you have to go through a lot of just posting, building the muscles, right? I honestly should call this like muscle training. Like this entire course is like rebuilding new muscles internally, right? To do this stuff, right? It's building confidence muscles, it's building foundational business muscles, it's building mindset muscles, it's building offer building muscles, it's building reaching out to people muscles, it's building confidence in social media muscles, it's building confidence in vulnerability muscles. Like it's all of these things, right? But I swear you only get there by just taking the action, like thinking less and doing more. Eventually you get to a place where you want to refine because you're in a little bit different spot with your business where it's not so much about that because you've got a lot of those foundational things. Now it's really about a bigger picture, scaling, taking things kind of to that next business level. But in the initial phases, right, we really got to just get you used to getting uncomfortable, getting out there, being heard, right? Like shaking things up a bit. Yeah, just putting stuff out there, right? Because eventually, even when you're at a place with your business where you're focusing on scaling and stuff, when you get to that place, um, when you get to that place, you're gonna need to have the resiliency about you to pivot when necessary, to be able to shift gears when necessary, right? You're gonna have to be able to use those skills you've been refining and building in the beginning to then do it in another level way in your business. So it's basically you're practicing these skills that you're going to be using forever, right? So this is one of the most foolproof ways to do it is messy action, moving before you feel ready. Because I'm going to tell you right now, feeling ready is an absolute myth. Like I never felt ready for half the stuff I did. I just trusted I was supposed to do it. And eventually it started to form into things. But this is the most real conversation I swear I could ever have with somebody is please just give yourself the opportunity to try because it's amazing what comes out the other side. And so many people will see your messy action and be so impressed by it. I will tell you, there was so many times I put stuff out into the world and I was like, oh my gosh, that wasn't good. That wasn't perfect. I was so in my head about it. People would come up to me later and be like, or like message me on social and be like, wow, that post really spoke to me. Like, thank you so much for your words. Like, I really needed to hear that today. Like they weren't thinking about the presentation of it. They didn't care about how perfect it was or comparing it to anybody else's pages and platforms. They were just struck by your message. And they were like, wow, I just really, resonate. And I'm telling you, the more messy it is too, to the average person, that's approachable. They're going to want to reach out to you. They don't feel like you're this untouchable thing, right? They're like, oh, she's just like another person, right? Like that's why so many times in my videos, I'm outside. It's not perfect lighting. It's not perfect, like the sound quality, right? It's like, I'm just like, I had a thought. I want to share it. I feel like this could help somebody, or here's something like a realization that just helped me. I want to give it to you, right? It's that kind of mentality is going to make the difference between, somebody hiring, like wanting to work with you versus another person who's, cookie cutter and um, perfect and seems like they just have their life totally figured out. That's unrealistic. And I want you to be the authentic, real person you are and not lose that. So if you can start your business in this messy action kind of vibe, right? In that come across in that real way from the beginning, I promise you that'll be a core value that you maintain and will be able to hold on to forevermore in this business. So it's super important. It's a huge value of mine to just be real and authentic and share the journey with people. So I pride myself, and that's how I started, and that's how I continue. So you can do it too, right? And what's beautiful about that is it means you can start anywhere. Again, like I said, you don't need to be certified. You don't need to have years and years of training and hours of training. You don't need to, have all this stuff to be ready. You're already ready. So, okay, well, just kick butt, take action, do it messy, don't look cute, like whatever. It's perfect. If you feel like it's something that you really need to share, right? You feel inspired, there's a moment where you're like, oh gosh, I feel lit up by this, then it's right that it means it's time. It means that right now is the time that it's meant to be shared with the world. So don't hold back.